This is what has to be recited and spoken out when someone leaves off, because he is very clear of the destination from point and to point. From point is from Tamsoma, to point is Jyotirgamaya. And this is the shloka which is trying to, which we quote for the existence of spiritual world. So that abode doesn't require sun. Like in this world, we have sun, we have moon, but that world doesn't require it. So Krishna is telling, and that is a world where we are actually belonging to. But because of our reason to enjoy separately from the Lord, we have come here. So every living being renders service to someone. But service in this world is terminated by death. For example, we love our near and dear ones, and we want to stay with them forever. But over a period of time, we see the love and service doesn't remain forever. For a person, if you see in a grocery shop, the person is trying to serve the customers, but money is a factor behind it. The person is having a pet, he's trying to go along with his pet. But if he has no one around, a wife is not there, children are not there, then he takes a dog and starts going with it. Sometimes mother is trying to serve the son. That is the topmost love which we can see in this world, without no expectation from the mother side for the son. But all these things we want to remain. We love our parents, we love our relatives, we never want to get separated. But unfortunately, time, because of time factor, one point of day, they are separated from us. So every living being loves someone, but the relationship and love in this world is temporary. And this is a fact, it's nothing to be hidden. And so, where we can find this eternal happiness, where there can be temporary, permanent relationship, that permanent relationship exists between soul and God. Because soul is eternal, the God is eternal, the connection between them is eternal. So, where should we repose our loving and serving propensity? So, dharma of the soul is to love and serve. If you see in this world, everyone is trying to love someone, everybody is trying to serve someone. So therefore, everybody, if you say, for example, the politician is trying to love someone, is trying to serve the people of the country. People of the country think, okay, politicians will try to serve us, therefore they vote him. The grocery shop person is trying to serve all the customers, and mother is trying to serve the child, child is trying to serve the mother. So if you can see the relationship, the whole funda dynamics of the relationship is that people want to love and people want to serve. But the nature of dharma doesn't mean I'm Muslim, Christian, Hindu. Dharma means this innate nature to love someone and innate nature to serve someone. And if you see the dharma, the nature of the sugar is to be sweet. Similarly, salt is saltish, ice is cold, rose is soft, water is liquid. Similarly, if you ask ourselves as souls, what is our nature? As sentient beings, our nature is to love and serve God with unconditional love. And because we are not doing it in the first place, therefore we are finding that kind of unsatisfaction. The Supreme Lord is the reservoir of all rasas, and we can experience true happiness only by loving and serving Him. So, in the beginning of battle of Kurukshetra, Arjuna was under stress because he was depending on his own ideas of becoming happy without consulting Lord Shri Krishna. He was like a soul independent of himself, but Lord was sitting next to him on the chariot. In the Yoga Mudra, he's trying to instruct Arjuna, the whole Bhagavad Gita. The limbs of his body was quivering, my mouth is drying up, my whole body is trembling, my hair is standing on the end, my bow gandi was slipping from my hand. I am unable to stand any longer. So this is Tamsoma. He was just on the bodily platform. He was in stress, and he gave him a wonderful stress management class of 700 verses, which till now, after 5,000 years also, as humans, we are trying to look forward it. So wrestling, my mind is reeling, I'm forgetting myself. And therefore, because he was a soul surrendered to the Lord, not only he, his whole family, they were surrendered to Lord Shri Krishna in eternal relationship of as devotees, as bhaktas. So Lord is Bhakta Vatsala. Lord surely protects those who cry out for his help. Like here, if you can see in Draupadi, all his husbands were not able to protect her. But because she took shelter, she established a connection. Because in Rajasuya sacrifice, when Krishna killed Sishupal, who was blaspheming him, and the Sudarshan Chakra which emitted from his hand, the blood started flowing. Subhadra went everywhere to bring a bandage or a cloth, but Draupadi immediately tore off her sari and tied. And a piece of sari Draupadi tore off and gave to Lord Shri Krishna, Kana. Krishna in return gave him the whole Mafatlal fabrics when Dushasana was pulling her. trying to strip her naked in the whole Asat Sabha. It's called Assembly of Asat, the people who are in not so worthy enough to be in the wonderful assembly. Asat matlab that which is not worth glorious of. But Shri Krishna was in Dwarka playing his dice with Rukmini and suddenly stopped playing. Then Rukmini asked him, "What is the reason you're not playing?" He told, "One of my devotees in trouble." But then why you're not helping her? Because she's still depending on her strength. She's still calling her husbands. She's still calling Bhishma Pitama. And at last, when she was not able to withstand Dushashan, she tried keeping her sari pallu in her teeth when she thought that Dushashan is having such strength. Except Madhava, nobody can protect me. Then he's told, "Hey Krishna, hey Damodara, hey Mahadeveti, kindly protect Krishna, Krishna Mahabhava, please protect me." In that moment, Krishna immediately protected her Raj. And for her, it was not protection of her body, it was not protection of chastity, it was not protection of her uh, chastity, but it was for her, the whole existence for her life. And calling for Krishna in such a desperate need doesn't make that bhakti conditional, it is unconditional because the body is a medium for our protection. And Lord surely protects because as prayers go up, blessings come down. And as case of Draupadi and Pandavas, although Pandavas were the biggest of the kings, but why Krishna made Pandavas the main figure of the whole Mahabharata or in fact Bhagavad Gita, that even people who are so close associates of Lord have to go to turmoils and turbulences and difficulties. But what is the glory when people are not devoted to the Lord? They try to depend on their own confidence, skill sets, and they start, blaming. Like once there is Akbar and Birbal, and Akbar used to every day in the morning he used to go and throw gold coins, and everyone in the assembly they used to pick up the gold coins and run away. And every time Akbar used to come after the whole giving ceremony, he used to feel very sad because I'm such a generous king and I'm trying to give this kind of donations to my whole crowd, citizens, but none of them are trying to reciprocate with me back. Then Birbal told, "My dear Akbar, instead of gold coins tomorrow, you give the coins of stones." And Akbar came in the morning at 8 a.m. and instead of the gold coins, the stone coins started flying up on everybody's head. Previously, the gold coins used to hit on their head, but they used to smilingly accept the gold coins with the bumps on their head. But now, when the stone coins started flying on their head, now they started turning up and blaming ऊपर वाले तो उसको समझता ही नहीं क्या क्या फेंकना चाहिए क्या नहीं फेंकना चाहिए. Similarly, when difficulties come in your life, the first person to be blamed is the ऊपर वाला, the person who is sitting in the top. And similarly, when Akbar came back and spoke with Birbal, then Birbal told, "This is what most of us do when difficulties come in our life, when reversals comes in our life, when we can't face the challenges of our life, we start blaming the person, God, but actually he's not responsible. We are responsible because when things go our way, we are happy, we go to the temple. When things don't go our way, then we start accusing him. But actually, Lord is very, very neutral as he's standing in the Bhagavad Gita battlefield. But especially, Lord is making Arjuna and his whole family, Pandavas, undergo these difficulties, not to show to the world that, if you become a devotee, we suffer. But like gold, when it is heated, it shines. So similarly, one who is dedicated to the Lord, surrendered to the Lord, takes to the bhakti process, to the medium of Bhagavad Gita, difficulty because we have this body, because of our prarabdha karma, difficulties will surely come because of our past actions in the previous life. But by taking shelter of the Lord, that difficulty will bring us close to Him. That difficulties will make us shine. So if you see in Mahabharata, who was the hero of Mahabharata? Arjuna was the hero of Mahabharata. Who was the hero of Ramayana? Hanuman was the hero of Ramayana. Who was the hero of Kurukshetra battle apart from Arjuna? Bhima was the hero of uh, Kurukshetra battle. Who was there on Satyuga when Hiranyakashipu was trying to kill Prahlad? Narsingadev appeared, but Narsingadev didn't become the hero. Prahlad became the hero. Prahlad is glorified. When there was Dhruva Maharaj, when Dhruva Maharaj was banished from his house, from Uttanapad's house, although Prishni Garbha, as Lord Vishnu came and gave him darshan, but who was glorified? Dhruva is glorified. Therefore, although Lord is like the Father, but he sees that his sons get the glory. His sons get that recognition in this world. And therefore, he is only giving them, it's like, when you want to charge a battery, you want to put the port inside the charging port, electric port, and the battery starts glowing. It gets charging. So similarly, as devotees, when we get connected to the Lord, we get charged. And when we get charged, we can stay for a long time, like a Duracell battery. It continues working, working, working. When other crowd, in general, human beings, when difficulties come their way, they stop working. Like there's a song when recently I had gone to one of the places in Gujarat at Surat. There was a school, one of the Ashadip networks of school where they teach education from first to 10th standard, and we had gone for a Gita competition there, and they had invited us for a assembly hall. And what was the song of that hall? The assembly prayer. ए मत करो कहो खुदा से मुश्किलें बड़ी है मुश्किलों से कह दो मेरा खुदा बड़ा है. So same thing. So when we read Bhagavad Gita, the essence of Bhagavad Gita is not that difficulties will fly away from our life. We have got this body. We are there in this ocean. Like if you are going through a ship, which is like a boat, and boat is in the ocean, mighty ocean, the waves are going to rock. Only thing, if you're stably grounded with a seat belt, how much had the ocean rocks, you are not going to fall in the ocean. Similarly, what Bhagavad Gita will help us to do is it will give us a seat belt. And what is that seat belt? The devotion at the lotus feet of Lord Shri Krishna. Like Arjuna took that seat belt and is sitting peacefully, and Krishna is making sure difficulties will come, but I am here. Like if you are able to see this chariot, 18 days of battlefield of Kurukshetra yesterday, Mughal Shampoo told this thing. At the end of the 18th day of the battle, everyone was killed, Pandavas remained, and Krishna told to Arjuna, my dear Arjuna, what you have to do now is you get down from this chariot. Because then Arjuna told, I think, Yadava, my dear friend, you should get down. You should alight from this chariot before me. But Krishna told him, I have spoken whole Bhagavad Gita to you and you accepted it. So right now I'm giving this advice to you. What is the advice? Accept this advice and get down from this chariot. What is a chariot? That chariot which he used for 17, 18 days and risen behind it. And he told Arjuna, go 100 meters away from this chariot. And then Arjuna went 100 meters away from the chariot, and that time he turned back and saw. So Krishna immediately jumped from the chariot. And when Krishna jumped from the chariot, the whole chariot, like a big missile bomb, it started blasting in. It became ashes in a moment when Krishna jumped from the chariot. Why? Because Bhishma Pitama, Dronacharya, Ashwatthama, everybody had invested with their mantri, with their all their yoga shaktis. They are invested in an arrow, and they targeted this chariot. And the chariot, being matter, was just holding that effect of that negative energy just because Krishna was standing on the chariot. And because Krishna knew this is the last time I'll be boarding this chariot, and moment I alight, if Arjuna is sitting inside this, अगर अर्जुना बैठे रहेंगे ये रथ पे, ये रथ पूरा फट जाएगा. तो इसलिए उन्होंने बताया कि आखिरी बार बैठना था, तो उन्होंने अर्जुन को वहां से दूर भेज दिया कुछ कदम, और उसके बाद अर्जुन क्या हुए, बच गए. Then Arjuna understood it's because of not my heroic prowess that I won the battle. It's because of Krishna's guidance and sanction. And similarly, the Gita Sar, essence of Bhagavad Gita is, when we read through these topics of Bhagavad Gita, is that difficulties will come, obstacles will come. We should not tell the Lord, so many difficulties have come across me, but you tell the obstacles, I have my Lord, sweet Lord, great Lord, Krishna around me. Arjuna was a friend and devotee of Lord Krishna, realizing that Lord Shri Krishna is his only shelter. Arjuna surrendered his life to him to be guided by him. Krishna, being the Supreme Lord, is the supreme well-wisher of his devotees. Accepting and following his instruction will bring greatest auspiciousness for all. So this is a message of Bhagavad Gita. Lord Shri Krishna told to Arjuna, completely surrender unto him. Only by doing so, one can become free of all sufferings and ultimately attain the spiritual world. Yatra Yogeshwaro Krishna, Yatra Partha Dhanudhara, Tatra Shriya Vijayabhutir, Dhruva Nitirmatir Mama. The first question asked by Dhritarashtra to Sanjaya was, Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre Samveda Yutsava Mamaka Pandavashaiva Kim Akurota Sanjaya. In this battlefield of Kurukshetra, it is called Dharmakshetra. And my sons are adharmis. What will the result outcome? Because Dhritarashtra knew what kind of adharma the Kauravas and his team had done. Therefore, he was very much suspicious of the result of the battle. Who is going to win this case? Pandavas or the Kauravas? And then the last sloka of Bhagavad Gita. This is Sanjay is telling to Dhritarashtra. The first sloka of Bhagavad Gita question is asked, and the last sloka of Bhagavad Gita, the answer is The question is answered. And what is the answer? My dear Dhritarashtra, my dear king, because of your children being adharmic, they have no hope. Why? Because the father of religion, Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, he is there on this opposite party. And not only he, along with him, Naranarayana, they had come and Naranarayana in Satyuga and they had killed Nivatkavachas, 1,000 demons together. And the same Naranarayana have come as Nara has come as Arjuna and Narayana has come as Krishna. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Partha Nurdhara. And Partha, he's having the bow, he's wielding his bow. The pen speaks louder than sword. Similarly, Arjuna's bow spoke louder than any of the weapons. So Krishna, the greatest archer Arjuna, is there on his side, on that side. And what is going to happen when these two personalities, Nar and Narayan, they are there on one side? There is going to be Lakshmi is on their side, the Yash, the Vijay is there on their side, and the morality is on their side. And of this, there is no doubt. That means Sanjaya did not tell that you are going to lose to Kauravas, to Dhritarashtra, but he glorified the Pandavas that they are going to win. And this is the whole theme of the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Wherever there is Krishna, the master of all mystics, wherever there is Arjuna, supreme archer, there will certainly be opulence, victory, extraordinary power, and morality. That is my opinion. That is last shloka of Bhagavad Gita. Now, what is the first shloka? The question is asked in the first shloka, 1.1. The question is answered in the last shloka, 18.78. And who is going to win? Pandavas are going to win. Why? Because Yaksham Stane Janardana. On their side, Yaksham Pakshe Janardana. Jetu Pandaputranam, Yaksham Pakshe Janardana. Pandavas are glorious because they went to such distress for 14 years in Vanvas, but they never left Krishna's lotus feet. Pandavas were 5, Kauravas were 100, but the Pandavas won the battle because they followed Dharma and they had father of Dharma, Lord Shri Krishna, on their side. Thus, anyone who follows in the footsteps of Arjuna by living a life of character, competence, and devotion to Shri Krishna, he will also be successful. So Arjuna was not only devotee, but he was having a lot of character. He was competent enough and he had devotion. We'll be covering this theme, character, competence, devotion, and quality of a devotee in the further settings. And our nature, therefore, as Pandavas, our nature is to unconditionally love and serve God. That alone will lead us to everlasting happiness. But if we forget Him, then we repose the same love and service. Actually, the object of our love and service is Supreme Lord Shri Krishna, all attractive form. But when we don't do it, when we cut off it in our conditional stage, we start reposing it in temporary and false relationships. You can say temporary and incomplete relationship of this world that are finished with time. This is a fact. That is what time factor and Prakriti is telling in Bhagavad Gita. Spouse, yes, at some point of time we may lose our spouse. People, when they live God-centeredness, they may become spouse-centered, they become family-centered. This is like a painkiller. Medicine is like, connection with the Lord, bhakti. Money-centered, we may think money can give us happiness. Work can give us happiness. Possession-centered, a brand new car can give us happiness. Pleasure-centered, it can mental, emotional, many pleasures. Friend and enemy-centered, he's my friend, he's my enemy. Are a pet-centered. If nobody is there, then people just keep a dog and they just want to carry a polythene behind it. Like they do for children, they start doing it for the pets. So similarly, when we don't repose that love and loving service. For example, I was telling the first session, the urge to worship is there. If you have seen the teenage right now, the millennial youths, the typical youths of millennial, they have become fan of some very beautiful person. They have their own icons, youth icons. Somebody's icon is a cricketer, somebody's icon is a football player, somebody's icon is a wrestler, somebody's icon is a very beautiful, a beauty queen, somebody's icon is a hero, heroine. But where this intensity to worship, urge to worship coming from? This urge to worship is coming because we as souls are hankering for that love and service which we have experienced with the Lord in the spiritual realm. And therefore, it gets replaced in this kind of centeredness. But then that gets separated at the time. So there, at this human form of life, we have a junction. We can inquire, we can read Bhagavad Gita, we can try to understand the sweetness and the greatness of the Lord. It's not like this world is a very temporary place, it's full of negativity. No, this is like a hot charcoal on which the gold is kept, And we are like that gold. Gold is filled with impurities. Right now, it's like a rainwater which is pure. When it gets mixed with the soil, it becomes impure. But when the sun falls on that uh, dirty place, the sun absorbs the whole water, and that process of absorption is little difficult. Similarly, we are pure, but we are mixed. We have come into this body because of our mind, intelligence, sending a subtle body and gross body. We have identified the body, and we're trying to seek pleasure to this body, and therefore there are six anarthas, unwanted things. Anartha, artha means wanted. Anartha means unwanted. That is lust, anger, greed, pride, envy, illusion. And these anarthas represent six demons in the Vedic literature. The lust is represented by Hiranyakashipu. The greed is represented by Hiranyaksha. Lust is represented by Ravana. The greed is represented by Hiranyaksha. Anger is represented by Sushupal. And madness is represented by Dantavakra. And then Kumbhakarna represents ignorance. And pride is represented by Hiranyakashipu. The six anarthas, we develop the six anarthas. But what we can do after we accept a human form of life, we can accept this process and purify our heart, which will lead us to spirituality, to spiritual world. Or we continue with the functioning what asuras are doing and continue to eat, drink, and be merry without giving any note to this wonderful knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. And we have to face the consequences of the choice we make. As I told, we our life starts with birth and ends with death. In between birth and death of segment life, or segment is birth and death, BD. But in between that, C is there. And the quantity of life doesn't matter. The quality of life matters. The quality is a function of choices we make. So at every step of life, we have choices. We make right choices. It's like a lift button. We can choose to go up or go down. We can choose to associate. We can associate with people who are knowledgeable, who live a life of morality and spirituality. Then we upgrade ourselves. We can go up. We choose our association. Tell me whom you associate with. I'll tell who you are. With people who are pleasure centered, who have a formula of eat, be, and sleep merry, then yes, we are pushing a button of basement -1, -2, -3. So, therefore, based on choices we make, we can elevate or we can sink in a different body, in a different yoni, in the next life. So, why does the soul leave the spiritual world and come to this material world? That's the next question. Due to desire to enjoy independent of the Supreme Lord. Just like this theme, if you see in the PPT, envy and desire, what is the theme I'm trying to make is like if you've seen mother, when mother is there in the when mother is trying to cook, a child comes. Right now lockdown is going on and many mothers, they have a lot of tension. They have to take care of the child, make sure the child takes a smartphone and logs into the school, uh, and then attends it. And the meanwhile, the children, what they want, they just want to imitate. Like I remember as a child, when my mother used to cut sabjis, especially bendi, I used to take that bendi outer portion and put it on my body like this in different portions. And just go behind her and see what she's cooking, what she's not cooking. Then I used to ask, can you give me also some vessels where I can cook? Then the one day they bought a brand new whole kitchen set for playing. And then I used to call all my friends, and then I used to play, and we used to cook and cook and cook. And at the end, when it becomes 1 o'clock, all my friends used to leave me and go away. And when the time for feast used to come, all vessels used to be filled with some grains which are uncooked, and we can't eat those grains except groundnuts. And when time comes, then I used to run to my mother and ask, "I'm very hungry. Can you give me some food?" So similarly, we as living beings, Lord Shri Krishna is full of Swarat. He has his own plan of enjoying because he is enjoyer. As we saw, the definition of God is a proprietor, he's a supreme proprietor, he's a supreme controller, he's a supreme enjoyer, and he is the Lord of everything. And therefore, he, as owner of the hotel, just has to come at the end of the day, take all the money and go back. But he's an independent enjoyer, even if he runs it in the hotel. But the managers, but the employees, but the waiters, they have to depend on the owner for their enjoyment. They have to abide by his laws, and then only they get their salary. So we are like dependent enjoyers. And when we cooperate in enjoyment of the Lord, we become happy. But when the independent enjoyer enjoys, the dependent enjoys, that the waiter also thinks, the manager also thinks, when will that day come when will I open the same chain of hotels? And when he wants to compete with him, if he has that knack and ability, then fine. But if he wants to do it, then he may not, he may end up losing the job, he may end up losing everything, and it may not happen. But at least in our case, by the manufacturing model, we as souls, we are part and parcels, dependent enjoyers. We are children of God, and we enjoy in harmony with the Lord. Like children, they enjoy their parents when they accept their subordination with them and abide with them. Then the atmosphere at the home is very loving. So one should accept that Lord is such a cruel person that he wants to keep us subordinate to him. He doesn't want to give us any control. No, it's not like that. As we hear the story of a prodigal son, their father, there's a big zamindar, there's a big business magnate. He had two children. This comes in Bible as a first standard student, second standard student in St. Michael's. I read the story, the last chapter of our English textbook, the prodigal son story. I think you might all of you might be knowing the story. The elder son was very obedient to the father, but the younger son was very much money maniac. His association was very, very bad, and all his friends knew that this person is having a lot of money, and they targeted the younger son because the elder son was very obedient. He used to always hear his parents, and because he used to always take guidance and suggestion of the parents, he never ever a single penny of his father was spent on boozing, on worldly things, on enjoyment, on his friends. And because father always kept him on track, told him, beta isse inse bach ke raho, inse bach ke raho. But the younger son never gave any heed to the father's instructions. And therefore, although father gave him so many advice that, the type of संग है keeping, जो आपका संग है, आपके रंग से पता चलता है आपका संग क्या है. So by seeing you, I can tell your habits, I can tell you whom you are associating with. And when the younger son took the whole property and he divided from his father, and he told, I don't want to stay any further with you. Give my whole property, give my money, and I don't want to stay with you. But despite despite his elder brother, and father trying to convince him, don't do like this, still the younger son took the whole partition of the property and went along with his friends for the world tour. Immediately within 1 year, all the money was lost, and he came back to the place where he was staying. But he was shameful enough. All his friends left, looting his property, but he had to work in a garage, and he had to eat suka roti, dal, burnt rice. And he used to remember the days when his father and mother used to feed him paneer makkan wala with ghee puris, with gajar ka halwa, with rasmalai and rabdi. That tears started flowing from him. But somehow or the other, the main secretary of this big business magnate, he happened to come to that garage to repair his car. And then he happened to see this person. It seems that I've seen this person somewhere. And then he understood this. He seems that I've heard about a news about my younger son of my boss, that he had left him and he has gone outside and he has come back to India and now he's somewhere staying, and without making any money, his conditions become very terrible. Then when he saw him, then he understood it might be the same younger son. And when he updated about his presence of his son in that particular state, at that moment, his father, although this son had done such terrible uh, litigation with him, he had filed a case with him for getting his property and other things. Still, against his father's will, he had taken that property. Still, his father was ready to come back, unite him. He came in his BMW car, came to that garage, took his son, took him back. The son was crying tears. And then he understood, actually, my father is my ever well wisher. Same thing is true in our life for that Father, God. And God means all attractive. As we saw yesterday, God has six opulences: all beauty, all knowledge, all fame, all strength, all wealth, all renunciation. But we want to compete with Him. How can Lord be so beautiful? How He can only have His own wife? How He can have His own parents? I also want to have my counterpart. And when we want to enjoy in competition with Him, like a child wants to, like I was giving an example, I wanted to cook, then my mother gave me a small kitchen set. Similarly, Lord Shri Krishna, or Lord Vishnu, or Lord Himself, He arranges to the living entity. Want to enjoy like me? Okay, I'll give a kitchen set. Like my parents give me a kitchen set. The Lord gives us a doll set. What is that doll set? You can go to a universe which is material. This material world is like that, set which is given to us. This body is like that apparatus, which is like cooking vessels, which apparently seems like we're enjoying, but the end result purpose of cooking doesn't happen. Like in the real set, real kitchen set, cooking happens, we can eat and we can be satisfied. But in the artificial doll set of kitchen set, it remains raw. Nothing gets cooked because there's no fire. Similarly, in the spiritual world, satisfaction is there because there is everlasting relationship. But when Lord sends us to the material world so that we will never hear, He wants to sanction, He wants to fulfill our desire. We come to this world, अध्यात्मिक जगत को छोड़ के हम भौतिक जगत में आते हैं. उसको भूमंडल बोलते हैं, धरातल बोलते हैं, ब्रह्मांड बोलते हैं. तो इसमें हमको अलग अलग योनि से गुजरना पड़ता है. इसलिए शंकराचार्य जी बोलते हैं, पुनरपि जननी पुनरपि मरणी पुनरपि यतिरे जयने शयनम यह संसारे बहु दुस्तारे कृपया पारी पाहि मुरारे. Therefore, we accept different wombs. We accept different species. In different species, we have our mothers, fathers, everyone. But till the time we don't get connected to the supreme eternal father and mother, till that time we have to continue samsara. Therefore, it's because of the desire we have come here, and we can hand over desire back to the Lord. Then we can become free. Therefore, this is like a set, a Barbie kitchen set, or it can be compared. Okay, like after 2 3 hours of cooking, I understood I can't get my food, I ran back to my mother. Similarly, when we come to this world, when it can be compared to like a jail for reformation. Why jail is kept? So that we can reform. When somebody commits a crime, he's sent to the jail, not to punish, not to kill him. The purpose of the jail is to reform the citizen. So similarly, the purpose of this material world is to reform ourselves of our desire to enjoy separately from the Lord. The material world, God has given sent grains, fruits, vegetables, sunlight, moonlight, Ayurvedic herbs. But along with that, there is fourfold miseries and threefold miseries: birth, old age, disease, death. And to reform our independent mentality and inspire us to return back home, back to Godhead. And that is the reason you can see everybody wants happiness in this world, but they are not satisfied. Some may think, kabhi kushi kam, if you only get happiness, how can you appreciate happiness? Therefore, there has to be some misery. So that is, a logic of fool, because just as the fish can be happy only in the water, similarly, soul can be happy only in the spiritual world, not in the material world with any amount of luxuries and comforts, because we are searching for everlasting happiness. That everlasting happiness comes in the spiritual body, because that spiritual body is eternal and God is eternal. The connection between the soul and the God is eternal, and that bhakti is eternal. But right now, the body in which we are staying is temporary, and therefore, if you don't fulfill the purpose of this material body, that is to unite back with the Lord, to ask the question why I'm suffering and what is the goal. The purpose of this body is to revive our lost relationship with the Lord. Then we can actually become happy. The soul can become happy. The soul can be happy only by rendering loving devotional service to the Supreme Lord in the spiritual world, not in the material world where he chases after the mirage of material pleasures and gets cheated. So how can we become happy? Like mouth only tastes the whole food, and all the hand, legs, stomach starts crying. Why only mouth should enjoy? Why only stomach should enjoy? Why not we enjoy? So when hand is taking this puri and gulab jamun, so one fine day it went on a strike. I'm not going to feed this mouth anymore, stomach anymore. Every time I take, and only mouth and stomach enjoys. This is from Panchatantra, and the hand starts taking gulab jamun and smashing it. And let me enjoy this gulab jamun. Let me enjoy this gulab jamun. Let me enjoy this pulao, let me enjoy this puri, let me enjoy this laddu. And after 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, the whole immunity system of the whole body goes off. And then it understands, okay, I may try to enjoy, but I cannot become satisfied till the time I don't put this morsel to the mouth. Similarly, Bhagavatam fourth canto, 24th verse, 24th chapter and 24th verse says, Yatataror mula nisechanena trappenti tat skandas bhujopashaka. That means as a tree has a root, as body has a stomach, also the whole food goes to the stomach and the water goes to the root of the tree. But by pouring water at the root of the tree, or by putting food into the stomach, the whole body gets nourished, the whole tree gets nourished. Similarly, although when we are trying to do the activities, we don't get any happiness, we may not have our agenda while performing any activity in this world, in karma yoga or yoga, but by satisfying the Lord, we become happy. So Lord is compared to the root of a tree. Lord is compared to the stomach inside the body. Similarly, in this universe, that Supreme Lord in the spiritual world, and by pleasing Him, we can become truly happy. The part, the part finger can become happy only when serving the whole stomach. The part and parcel soul can become happy only by serving the Supreme Lord, who is the whole. Therefore, we should not become independent enjoyers, but we should become dependent enjoyers. Like the employees in the hotel, they become happy when the owner is pleased. Then he gives them bonus, Diwali bonus, he increases their hike. So therefore, but most of the people in this material world, they don't want to say हाँ हाँ in the भगवान के सुर में सुर नहीं मिलाना चाहते, इसलिए भगवान के सुर में जो सुर मिलाते हैं उनको सुर बोलते हैं. सुर यानी डिवाइन देवतास. भगवान के सुर में जो सुर नहीं मिलाते उनको असुर कहते हैं, यानी दे आर डिमोनिक. एंड देयरफॉर you can find always left side who always break the laws of God, right side was always trying to abide by the laws of the God, whether they're Christians, Hindus, Muslims, religion doesn't matter. The real religion, dharma, is to love and serve God. That can be done in any religion, in any sect, any faith. That is what Bhagavata says. In whole Bhagavata, you'll never see something called Hinduism being mentioned, something called any dharma mentioned. The only dharma which is mentioned there is Sanatan Dharma, eternal religion, and that eternity is love and service of the soul to God. So, what are the people who don't abide by the principles of God? They always rebel against the Lord. Therefore, they are called asuras. They are selfish, concerned about one's own sense gratification. Like I was telling you example of devatas and asuras during the churning of the ocean of milk. They wanted to get amrit. Then Lord told them, the Devatas, you go and catch the head side of the Vasuki from where fire comes. He told the Asuras, go and catch the tail portion. Asuras told, we are so inferior that you have to catch the tail portion of this Vasuki. While we will catch the head portion. But from the head, from Vasuki, fire emanates. So Lord knew, Lord Achyuta knew, that Lord Vishnu knew. This Asuras, they don't have the Shakti to hold the fire of this Vasuki's mouth. But all the asuras were black, burnt like a charcoal, but still continued to churn. So similarly, they always, whatever Lord says, whatever Vedas say, they always act against it. And what they consider, I have achieved by my power, I am the doer. Just eat, drink and marry. जो होगा जो भी होगा देखा जाएगा. मतलब when they are going on a journey, just concerned, just be cool, just see left side, right side. There is no to and there is no for from where to go and where to reach. They just think that this body we have got, this is the only body. Who knows next life exists or not? Just with this body you have got, therefore try to enjoy, eat, drink, and be merry. That kind of principle. It's called hedonistic theory or materialistic theory. Immediate pleasures are the goal. Like a child, you give a chocolate and a 500 rupees note. Child will only take the chocolate, not the 500 rupees note. Example from this in Mahabharata is Duryodhana and the modern culture which we are undergoing. If you see most of the people, just before the COVID lockdown, everybody, it was height of peak. The peak of our material advancement was towards this kind of culture, Asuric culture. Everybody is just concerned about eat, drink, and be merry, just based on bodily pleasures we want to enjoy. But one small virus has put a full stop to the whole economy of the world. This is what happens. So, no God, no peace. If we know God, when you say no to God, then we have to stay away from peace. So similarly, what we should do then, we can try to read Bhagavad Gita, understand what Bhagavad is trying to tell, and any of the scriptures are trying to tell, and try to abide by that. Selfless service to God and others. When we give to others, it will come back to us. Considering everything as a gift and mercy of the God, Pandavas never thought that they were banished to the Vanavas. Therefore, they did not started, blaming Lord or started mourning, started criticizing Lord. They were happy that His mercy. This is because of a past karma we have to suffer. Therefore, they became even more glorified in such difficult conditions. of Pandavas and Draupadi, they never left the shelter of the Lord. Think twice before acting. Anytime you have to take some decision in our life, we have the button of choice in our life. So you have to make a right choice. Eternal life of bliss and knowledge is the goal. They don't think that this body is all in all. Beyond this body, next life exists. We are not in all. Beyond us, God exists. And this world is not all in all. Beyond this, a spiritual world exists. And therefore, when they know this, how we can know this? By reading Bhagavad Gita, 18 chapters, we can know this step by step. And what is yoga? Yoga means trying to abide by karma, by on the level of action, trying to abide by the laws of God. On the level of mind, thought process, trying to abide by the laws of God is called Jnana Yoga. On the level of meditation, it is called as Dhyana yoga, on the level of worship, like I was saying, many of the millennial youths are trying to worship the icons of hero, heroine, sports stars. But that worship, when you make it harmonizing, abiding with the knowledge of Bhagavad, that becomes worship of the Supreme, that is Lord Hari, that is called as eternal bliss of life and knowledge. That is a goal. That's called Bhakti Yoga. And both examples in Mahabharata, Yudhishthira Maharaj and saintly devotees of God. So Duryodhana and Yudhishthira were there in Dronacharya's ashram. And Dronacharya told to Yudhishthira and Duryodhana, he told to Duryodhan, my dear Duryodhan, find if you can find any much more better person than you in the whole of your kingdom. And then he called Yudhishthira and told, Yudhishthira, find if you can find any inferior person than you in this whole assembly of your kingdom. So Duryodhana went through the whole kingdom, and Yudhishthira also went through the whole kingdom. And Duryodhana came and told to Dronacharya, my dear Dronacharya, my dear Guru, I could not find anyone much more superior than myself. I am the most superior person in this whole kingdom. And Yudhishthira Maharaj came and told to Dronacharya, my dear Dronacharya, I could not find anyone lower than myself. I could find that I am the lowest among everyone. This is not something called as codependency from psychological point of view or something called as shaming oneself, but it is like true empath, accepting one's shadowy nature and trying to work over it. So therefore devotees are true empaths, full-blown empaths. And Duryodhana was a narcissist. He was trying to speak out, I'm the best. So when you start practicing bhakti, you can find what other person's feeling, his emotions, his nature, his what he's undergoing through. Therefore, you can extend his help to him. And when it comes to demonic, they are just bothered about I, me, mine. So our condition is like in this world, left side, the photo, the child sitting in this big railway compartment, which is broken down. It's like a material world. We are trying, we are in search for happiness to reunite with Lord. The right side, if you see, the spiritual world where the child is united with the Lord. And we have to revive our eternal relationship with Father God to become truly happy. And we have last two slides. We'll end with this. We are like the lost son of the millionaire father. I told the story of prodigal son. So Father is eager to reunite with us, but taking the wisdom knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, we have to reunite with him. So spiritual world versus material world, because if you see Ardhamulam Adashakam Purushottam Yoga studies first sloka of Bhagavad Gita 15.1. This material world is a reflection of the spiritual world. If you see this water, all the trees are reflected inside. So therefore, if you see the perverted reflection of this material world, we can understand because here there is variety, therefore, and here there is little happiness. This shows that there has to be variety and complete happiness somewhere else, and that is like the upside down mango tree. We'll be discussing this topic again in the further classes because time is always over. Material world is a perverted reflection of the spiritual world. Like there's a real marble, there's a fake marble, there's real currency, then there's a fake currency, real fruit, there is a fake fruit. Similarly, there is real beauty, then there is fake beauty. And therefore, we should find out how we can try to gain complete happiness in this world is when we understand Bhagavan Shri Krishna is a possessor of six opulences. He is a source of beauty, he is a source of fame, he is a source of wealth, he is a source of knowledge, he is a source of renunciation and strength. So from here ahead, we will be continuing in the next session. And if you have any questions regarding this, you can ask. So in today's setting, in the last setting, we discussed soul is eternal, full of knowledge, full of bliss, and the body being temporary. There's an incompatibility factor. It's like, when we go to the toilet, which is filled of urine, stool. Sometimes when you go to a public forum, especially in India, most of the toilets are flooded with the urine, and when we want to go inside, we have to just pluck our nose and go inside and just we complete it and come out. So similarly, this body is filled with such, all the nine holes emit such substances. We have to clean it. We have to cleanse it. Like Shankaracharya says, Maline mochana pumsam jalasnanam dine dine sakrat gitamrita panam samsara malanashanam. Like as humans, when we get up in the morning, we take bath to remove the dirt from these nine holes. जो हमारे शरीर में नौ होल है, nine holes are there. To cleanse it, we take bath. Similarly, by reading Bhagavad Gita, the subtle body, the mind, intelligence, and ego, that gets purified. Therefore, we call temple as a spiritual university. In Sanskrit, temple means mandir. What is mandir? Like for bodily sustenance, we have universities where we can earn money. temple is a place where we can understand about mind and understand about soul, and we can cleanse the mind. Mind in Sanskrit is man. The place where the mind is cleansed is called as mandir. And similarly, what we get in a mandir, we get a mantra. And what is that mantra? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is a mantra. And therefore, uh, what we who gives that mantra? Devotees gives that mantra. And what are the wisdom books? Bhagavad Gita is a wisdom book. And by doing this, we can get cleansed of the six anarthas of lust, anger, greed, envy, pride, illusion, and soul can get liberated from this bodily existence. As a forward journey, we continue our prescribed duties. We are still son of someone, we are daughter of someone, we are having some professional life, we continue that. There is like two track of a railway engine. One track is professional life, another track is personal life. There's horizontal relationship and vertical relationship. By performing the relationship of this world, we should never forget our relationship with the God. That is what is the message of Bhagavad Gita. The Gita Sar means, while performing our activities as a particular identity in this world of material world matter, we should never forget our relationship, establishing our spiritual relationship with the Lord. Otherwise, what will happen? Our track, a train of journey of our life, the engine, the railway engine of our life will not move, because only on the material track it will not move, because spiritual and material, then the railway can take. Like if there is aircraft, there's a left wing, there's a right wing, the board, starboard and the port wing. We need both the wings. So similarly, the one wing is prescribed duty of this material world, the material duties. The right wing is the spiritual duties or constitutional duties. Constitution, as servants of Krishna, we are meant to do bhakti. As having this body, we are belonging to someone, we are meant to answer the relationship, and we have to take responsibility for that. Therefore, we have to balance both. This is what is the essence of Bhagavad Gita. So, because Krishna is speaking this knowledge to Arjuna, who was commander in chief, he was a married man. Similarly, this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is very, very applicable to all of us. And after the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna fought such voraciously, such courageously. At the end of the 18th day, he was a victor. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna Yatra Pardunara Tatra Shreya Vijibhutir Dhruva Nitir Mama. Arjuna became successful. So we'll continue with this session in the next setting. I think 26th of this month is a Republic Day. If all of you are available, if you have holiday time, I think we can take this session again on 6:45 to 8. And once we finish it, we'll be continuing on the weekend. If all of you are agreeing for this, we will continue at 6:45 to 7, 8 on 26th of Jan, if you're available. And you can also tell the timings according to your availability. We can also take the timings. You are in the group. If you're not in the group, you have the mail ID geetanswer@gmail.com. You can put. And I feel if we can take this topic, because we wanted to complete it today, but because of time, it's a huge topic, we will try to take it on Tuesday evening, if all of you wish. Yes, yes. So one of the comment came, Divya Dalai is saying, okay, yes, we can have it on 26 Jan. What about others? We can have it, or we want to stick it on the weekends? I think we have to contact Alokji. What do you feel? You can put all your chats, comments, and if you have any questions, you can ask it also on the chat, because I spoke something on karma today, something on Prakriti and Kala. It's a little difficult topic. Yes, Varsha ji is telling yes, we can have it, and hope I'll just give this session a halt now so that we can make full justice to it in the next setting. In that case, if you have any questions, you can put in a chat. If you have no queries, if things have become very clear, soul being spiritual, its origin has to be from the spiritual planet, because everything around is only matter here around us. Everything is matter. Therefore, soul, life comes from life. Life comes from spiritual world. So yes, Alok is also telling yes. So I'd like to thank all of you who joined us today. We have Alok with us from Pune, Hinjewadi, and we have his wife Varsha joined. We have Jigar, we just returned from Singapore, and he's at Pune. Thank you, Jigar, for joining. We have with us Rashi ji. She's joining. For her, it's early morning, and I really appreciate her endeavor to join for this program. She just got to know yesterday, and she had joined so early morning in West. Then we have Lakshmikant Mohanta from Orissa. We have Dr. Nag Lakshmiji from, I think, Karnataka, from Ballari. Then we have Vikram from Pune, who is the co-host for this program. We have Mahantesh. Is it Montu Mahantesh? I think he's from uh, Delhi. Yes, Rashish telling I'll also be able to join Tuesday. Thank you so much, Mahantesh. What you feel? I think you're doing your PhD at IIT Delhi. So if you also have time, you can let us know. And we have Divya Dalai from Orissa. She is vice principal, I think, of Somal School. We have Shivam, he is a student at NIT. Abhijit at NIT Warangal. Hariom at NIT Warangal. Niranjan, and we have Vatsal from Jaipur doing his MCA. And I think we have Nilam Sharma. I think she is one from Moscow who has joined us, if I'm right. So please let us know if your availability. I thank all of you for joining today. And this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is really wonderful and it can really help us to say this song as I told, ये मत कहो कुआ से ये मत कहो खुदा से मुश्किलें बड़ी है मुश्किलों से कह दो मेरा मेरा खुदा बड़ा है. This is the same message which Bhagavad is trying to tell us that yes, we have to take shelter of Lord, and by depending on the Lord, we can really become happy. Bhakti will not make our miseries, difficulties. Uh, like it's Bhakti is not a vacuum cleaner which can completely eradicate miseries from our life per se, but it will make us such a frame of mind, such a frame of consciousness that we can face difficulties with full strength like Pandavas did. Then we will be able to tell to the difficulties, I have my Lord standing behind me. Okay. So till what time multiple rebirths happen for soul? We have a question from Varsha Singh. If you are getting late, if all of you are having engagement, officially we are ending the program here. For those who are very eager to hear the answer, the question is from Varsha Singh. कितने जन्म तक हमको फिर से जन्म लेना पड़ता है? आंसर इज वेरी सिंपल. व्हेन यू आर स्टडिंग फॉर अ 10th स्टैंडर्ड, जब तक हम पढ़ाई नहीं करते, जब तक हम मार्क्स एग्जाम पासिंग मार्क्स एग्जाम नहीं लेते हैं, जब तक पास मार्क्स नहीं मिलता, तब तक हमको 10th का रिपीटेशन देना पड़ेगा. तो इसी तरह से कब तक हमको शरीर लेना पड़ेगा? क्वेश्चन पेपर रिलीज है, अंतकाले च मामेव स्मरण मुक्त्वा कलेवरम तम तम एवैति कौन्तेय सर्वतद्भाव भाविता. मृत्यु के समय में जो चीज हम सोचते हैं उसके हिसाब से शरीर मिलेगा. यान्ति देवव्रता देवान पितृण यान्ति पितृणोता भूतानि यान्ति भूतेजा मदयाजी नोपि माम. Krishna is telling, if you worship your forefathers, you go to the planet of forefathers. If you worship bhutas, you go to the planet of ghosts and hoplings. If you worship demigods, you go to the planet of demigods and Svargaloka. If you worship me, because I'm spiritual, you come to my abode, spiritual world. सो कब तक, जब तक हम भक्ति शुरू नहीं करते हैं, भक्ति करके भगवान का आराधना शुरू नहीं करते, तब तक हमको जन्म लेते रहना पड़ेगा. ओके, तो इसलिए हमको भगवता पढ़ के भक्ति कैसे करना चाहिए, इसका पालन हमको समझना चाहिए. वर्षा जी, आपका आंसर, आर यू satisfied with the answer? Till the time we don't prepare in this life by bhakti, we have to purify our consciousness, and like Pandavas, we have to become devoted to Lord by accepting Him as our Lord. Then we become, with the purified consciousness, we can ascend to the kingdom of Lord, like Dhruva did, like Prahlad Maharaj did, like Pandavas did, like Vibhishan did. By practicing bhakti, if you can perfect bhakti in this life, or if you start bhakti also, even if you don't perfect it, then surely we continue. If you get a degree, PhD degree, and while doing PhD degree, somehow you leave your body. When you come as a next life, you have to study A, B, C, D, Baba, Black Sheep, Heavy Mule, yes sir, 3 bags full. You will, when you take new, next time when you take a birth on the first day, you can't tell, I was a PhD student in so and so college and could not finish my thesis, so let me continue. No, you have to grow. You have to qualify yourself. Similarly, that is with matter. Material karma continues from where it left, but whatever material accomplishments are there, that is lost in this life. We leave it here on, like Alexander the Great. He opened his 2 hands outside. Whatever has brought, I will leave everything outside. But when it comes to bhakti, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, Neha Vikraman asossi pratyavana vidyate swalpam apyasya dharmasya tat. That little bit bhakti, little bit endure on this path will save you from the greatest danger. You just heard this lecture. This has gone into eternal bank account. Sometimes in your smartphone, sometimes in your laptop. When you want to delete a file which is not so worth it, but which is under administrator password, when you want to delete the file, it shows access denied. Similarly, the bhakti which we do, you are coming and attending this program, trying to hear Bhagavad Gita, this has gone into eternal bank account. death will not delete this with you, because bhakti factor continues from where you left. If you have done 20%, the next life bhakti continues from 21%. But why we have to wait for the next life to complete bhakti? We can continue our material duties. While doing material duties, while doing executing our worldly duties, we can just add bhakti to our life. And addition of bhakti is very, very simple. We just has to do four things. A, association of devotees, like you're coming and associating with this program. Satsanga, A for association. B for reading books, reading Bhagavad Gita. We are reading Bhagavad Gita in association. C for chanting of the holy names of the Lord, which is the Yuva Dharma for the Kali Yuga. Chanting the mantra, that's meditation, mantra meditation. And D, trying to take prasad on the regular basis. We'll be seeing this much more of this in the next session. I think we have time stipulated to 8, but it is 8:15. If we can practice bhakti and perfect our life, which we'll be discussing in the next section, we can end our cycle of birth and death in this life itself. Okay, so I'll conclude now. We can join again later. Hope this session was understandable. If you have any queries, as I have been telling, we can, you can, all of you can write me the questions at geetaanswer@gmail.com. I'll just put this message. I think it has only gone to, okay. Thank you all of you. We will try to meet again at Tuesday, 6:45. Hare Krishna.